welcome to my channel. If you are new here, I am Bree. If you're not new here, welcome back, girl. Today we're doing a full face of drugstore products, and I tell you, yeah, this full face was drugstore. If you like beauty reviews, makeup tutorials, all things makeup and beauty, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, or subscribe to my channel. I do nothing but those types of reviews and all things makeup. I also have a small business, Her Name Studios, where I sell fashion accessories. So if you guys love fashion accessories, you like to spice up your outfits, go ahead and follow Her Name Studios. We're almost at 10K besties on TikTok. I literally can scream, guys. Like, my TikTok has been doing so good, and I'm so thankful for you guys. You want to see how I got this look, this entire face, this whole ass beat? Then keep on watching. So I'm doing my brows with the Lift and Snatch pen. This is from NYX. This is my favorite brow pen at the moment. I don't really like gravitate towards brow products anymore because I do my soap brows, but this has changed my entire brow game. It makes the hairs look just like hair-like strokes, just like my normal hair. Bushy brows are my thing, so I just really prefer the brow pen. So fine point, I swear to God. Side by side, this is one side with the pen, one side without. You guys can tell the difference for sure. It just makes the brow look a little bit more full, and that's what I'm going for. Also, I want to disclaim, if you're heavy-handed, I wouldn't worry too much about using this pen. This pen is universally built for everybody. The tip is so thin that you really just, like, even if you did go heavy, think that it would actually like affect the outcome of the brow because the pen is just so fine. Strokes are just looking like little hairs, and that's basically what the pen is meant to do. It's not really meant to substitute if you like a pomade kind of look or anything like that. I guess you can use this if you do like to put pomade on the ends, just use this in the front. But other than that, I wouldn't worry too much if you're heavy-handed. In my eyes, I'm using the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I prefer a hydrating concealer as a base over a mattifying concealer, just because even though the matte concealers are more likely to be full coverage, which is fine, I just don't like my eyes getting dry throughout my eyeshadow like routine. I just feel like when I use a matte base for my eyeshadow doesn't come out the way that I would like it to. So I just like to hydrate my eyes before I actually go in with any powders. Just a preference. Hydrating Camo Concealer is wonderful, and I highly recommend it if you have dry under eyes. I just did my eyes off of camera, but what I used was the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette, and I recommend if you are going to get any eyeshadows from the drugstore to really invest in the Ultimate collection. They have a colorful palette, they have the neutral-ish palette, and then they have the one that I just used today. But I would say that out of all of these palettes, their formula is super creamy. NYX has a good reputation for making great eyeshadows. They aren't so much drugstore price, but it is worth an investment. I would say that investing $35 to $32 for that price point, and it comes with 35 shadows, is way better to me, in my opinion, than investing $32 in a little quad of like 4 shadows. It's just not worth it to me. It's because something retails for a little bit more and it only has like 4 shades, like a prestige brand, let's say. I don't think that that's always the case scenario, that it's going to be better over the drugstore. That's just my personal opinion. I just did a little light mauve moment because I'm going to dinner tonight. Shadows are just so buttery soft. They blend like a dream, and I highly recommend it. It's like one of my favorite palettes. For foundation, I like to mix the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint with my e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. This is like one of my ultimate drugstore like go-to foundation combos. At first, I didn't really prefer the Milani Glow Skin Tint by itself, so I mixed it with my e.l.f. Camo CC Cream one day, and it literally changed my entire foundation game. This is medium to full coverage. Milani Skin Tint, I use the shade 210. Milani's shade range for this product in particular isn't large. Just disclaiming that now, they do not have a large shade range for this, which is kind of disappointing. Nonetheless, this is a nice hydrating skin tint. It has 29% squalene, which is amazing for your skin, and it is made with a coconut water blend. I've talked about this before on my TikTok and my YouTube. This isn't one of my favorite skin tints, but I do like it mixed with the e.l.f. Camo CC Cream. I use shade 375N, and this is like my perfect go-to shade, and I prefer the way that it feels together. It's very lightweight, wearable, breathable, and it looks full coverage because of the e.l.f. Okay, so I'm just concealing my face, but for the concealer, I love the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. This is so underrated in my opinion. This formula is so freaking creamy. It blends like a dream, and it is full coverage, so I like to let my concealer sit for like a minute or two to just really get a little bit dry, and it creates like a tacky consistency, which creates like a full coverage look for your foundation. But as you can see, as I'm blending out, how full coverage this is, and it's so creamy, long lasting, long wearing, and the coverage is there, girl. Oh, it's just such a dream. I really don't think that Maybelline gets as much hype as they used to, which they really do deserve it. This has been one of my staples since like the beginning of my whole entire makeup obsession, because I didn't have a lot of money at the time to really invest in a lot of expensive bougie makeup. So these are like my staple pieces that even till this day I still use and I still repurchase. I also want to disclaim, I got this brush from TJ Maxx in my TJ Maxx haul, like shop with me, when I went to Ulta, and it was only $4.99 from the brand Zara. This is a nice brush. Like, it reminds me so much of Sigma. It's giving me Sigma synthetic brush hairs. It just feels so soft and luxe. It reminds me a lot of like a high-end brush. I'm gonna be bronzing with e.l.f. Putty Bronzer. This is the shade Bronzed Belle. So I did place Bronzed Belle in my high points where I want to get a little bit more bronze, but you see how sheer it is? Like, guys, this formula is really sheer. This is definitely more of like a natural kind of thing, and if you like that natural look, I recommend to check out the Putty Bronzers. But look at how much product I had to put on just to get this finish right here. Like, this is gonna sheer out so freaking much, and I'm not gonna lie, I love the Putty formula, I love the Putty blushes, I love the Putty primers, but for the Putty Bronzers, I'm not mad because I did apply with a brush and I didn't absorb too much of my product. But when I reviewed these, I was just so upset about it. If you are going to be using these Putty products, I would say, like, as far as a whole entire e.l.f. Putty collection, you just need to really use a brush to get the full amount of coverage. And I'm gonna be repeating this over and over again because these are questions that I get constantly on my TikTok. It's so funny because like till this day I still get freaking people on that video in particular like telling me like, no, use a brush, don't use a sponge, because I used a sponge in the like review. But guys, even with the brush, like, these are very sheer. I'm obsessed with the blushes though. The blushes I feel like have a lot more pigment than the bronzer. Speaking of blushes, I'm gonna be using the Putty Blush. This one is in the shade Bora Bora. Guys, this blew up on my TikTok too, but this is like my new favorite go-to shade. You really have to saturate your brush when you use these, but definitely to get the fullest like amount of pink that I want, I have to do at least 3 layers. But the way that the pigment just pays off with these blushes, unlike the bronzers aren't bad, like I'm saying, but the blushes are a little bit better. If you ever have like separation really bad, like in your concealer and your blush, if that ever happens to you, I just go in with a very tiny like buffer brush and I just blend it upwards into my high points of my cheeks, because that just also not only snatches up that area, but it blends out that harsh like line in between. I just like a lot of blush, so I don't mind if it gets like under my eyes or anything. To set everything in place, I'm taking my Maybelline Fit Me Loose setting powder. This is one of my favorite setting powders ever, one of my favorites, and you cannot go wrong. This is a dupe for the Huda Beauty like baking powder. But the way that Maybelline said, girl, we have a $7 dupe, I'm here for it. So a little tip, I like to set all of my powders with the powder puff. I used to do a sponge. Sometimes I will do a sponge if my powder puffs are dirty, okay? Kill me. I'm gonna be doing the little sponge thing. The powder puffs brush my under eyes like anything else, and that's just on period. And also, I don't think I said, but for the powder shade, I'm using light medium 20. They have translucent, they have a big shade range actually for this powder, but light medium 20 looks good. It looks like my foundation, so that's what I like to use. So I did place the setting powder on top of the Putty applications. So I had a lot of comments too on my TikTok of people saying that they cannot set it without it looking crazy on their foundation. I never have that issue with the powder puff, so I highly recommend. I'll link them down below for you guys. I get them from Amazon. It's a whole pack of 10. You need them, go to the link. So everything is going to be linked down below that I'm using today in case you guys want to pick up anything that I'm using. To bronze my face, I'm using the Essence Sun Club bronzing powder, and I have the illuminating one. I honestly don't like the matte one, so I highly recommend to, if you are going to try it, try the illuminating one, not the matte one. The matte one just looks chalky, and girl, there's no shades for me. Personally, I really like the way that the Putty Blush and like the Putty formula looks. It's very sheer, but it's like shiny a little bit, like a little dewy. I like that, but when you set it, it does take that dewiness away, obviously, because there's no more creams that are appearing. It's more powdery. So the Sun Club does bring back that glow. So if you like that putty glow, but you want to set it in place and not have it like smear all over the place, try this Essence bronzer. You'll love it. To top my Putty Blush, I'm going in with the e.l.f. This is one of their blushes. The shade is called Bright Pink, but I don't know what this collection is. They sell it at Target. That's the only place that I've seen these, and they're like $3, so go run to Target. And I think that if you have the Target Red card or like the Target Circle thing, you'll get additional savings on beauty, because there's always beauty deals on that Target Circle thing. So if you guys want to, go check it out. And I don't know if they have a lot of Targets with the Ulta yet, but go run. I just love the way that this pink looks. I am such a pink blush type of girl. I'm also gonna use their compact powder. This is in Fair Light, and it's called their Prime and Stay Finishing Powder. So I like to use this to brighten up my under eye a little bit, just a tiny bit. I also recommend, if you are going to be doing any brightening under your eye, make sure that your under eye is really hydrated, because if not, these powders layered on top of your eyes are going to be really drying. You'll feel kind of like crackly. Really hydrate that under eye. I just want to show you guys the difference. This has the powder, the other side doesn't. You guys can definitely tell. For setting spray, I'm going to use the Milani Make It Last. This is just one of my favorite drugstore setting sprays to mattify and lock in my face. This lip pencil that I'm using right now is literally a recent find. I found this at Walmart for $2.99. It's from Wet n Wild, and this is their first ever gel lip liner. Honestly, they need a bigger shade range because I want this in every color. This formula, it glides on like butter. Literally, I'm not mad at the color though. I love burgundy, but I just wish that they had a little bit more. You guys, I am not kidding. This formula is like an actual dupe for the ColourPop lippy pencils. This is cheaper than the lippy pencils. It feels just like the lippy pencils, and I need it in every color. In the center, I am going in with my NYX lip liner. This is in the shade Natural. Guys, I am screaming. This lip combo is like literally perfect. It was like they were meant to be together. This is the final look. I hope you guys loved all of the drugstore recommendations that I have. These videos are going to be coming a lot more because I have a lot of drugstore makeup, I just realized. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to be coming out with a few more videos this week. I can't wait to see you then. I love you guys, and I'll see you on my next one.